Good morning, students. We have been doing investment banking subject last several weeks. So I think by the time you have kind of knowledge on the subject matters, we are actually doing the first session of the syllabus, and we have completed the terms of investment banking subject, which is more important for us to continue these studies. And later you will be using these terms into the practice. So practice in the sense, generally when you are doing the calculation and all, so we need this kind of terms to know. So then at that time, then if it is new to you, then there won't be there will be a problem. So that's why we have do it now. So basically we have been discussing with you treasury bill, treasury bonds, shares, not the much on shares, and government instrument. So the government instrument, if you say government instrument, so suddenly the word comes into your mind should be risk free, right? So the treasury bill, treasury bond, another term should come to your mind. These instruments are rupee denominated instrument. Rupee denominated. Rupiah වලින් තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. So when the government needs money from the public, so they are using these two instruments. What are the two instruments? Treasury bill and treasury bond. What to raise? LKR funds to raise. රුපියල් රේස් කරන්න තමයි රුපියල් ගන්න තමයි මහජනතාවගෙන් රුපියල් ගන්න ආණ්ඩුවට ඕන වුණාම මෙන්න මේ ඉන්ස්ට්‍රුමන්ට් දෙක ඉෂුව කරනවා. This is common to the world, all the countries. If you go to US treasury, similar. Everything is similar. Almost all the governments in the world, they issue this. They issue it, right? So now if the government doesn't need money, why they are issuing? So this is the instrument they can control what? Country's interest rate. This is the instrument they can control the country's interest rate. But we have discussed and we have learned there are two instruments, policy rates in particular in Sri Lanka, that is SDA and SLF, right? By reducing, by increasing, they can actually handle or they can control the interest rate, that we know. So then what is this instrument? Now, for example, now treasury bill is a weekly auction based instrument. Every week you have treasury bond on requirement, treasury bill every week. So week after week, if the rate comes down, what is the indication? We have learned that. What is the indication given to the public? Interest rate coming down. So then what happened? Deposit interest rate should come down. Accordingly, bank takes action. Lending rate should come down. So everything will be adjusted according to this risk-free rate, right? Risk-free rate. Oh, plus they are doing the SDF, SLF manipulation, not manipulation, controlling as well. Right now, these are the two instruments we have learned so far. Treasury bill, treasury bond. Mechanism is important, right? I just to refresh with you, this is auction based. Now we have been doing this. ISIN number is important for you all, right? LKA means what? This is how you identify whether it's a treasury bill or treasury bond. LKA means treasury bill. LKB means treasury bond, right? So then, do you have any question on this? What we have done so far? Anybody has any question? Anybody has any question so far? Any gray area? So a week before, actually, there was some disconnection happen. I have watched the video. I will catch up that missing part as well. Don't worry. Anybody who wants to ask any question? Now, so basically, everybody understood what we have done. So this is treasury bill. And result sheet is more important. So this is the indication given to us what's happening current interest rate. Now if you see the current and last auction, while last auction is previous auction, the previous week auction. Now there is slightly increase in the interest rate. Slight increase 6 months. Slight increase 1 year. 0.01. Negligible. But there is a increase. And also see the amount they offered. Amount they accepted. 40 they offered. 40 billion wanted to raise. But how much they have accepted? Only 26.842. So what happened to the balance? They must have other sources to fulfill. We call other sources captive sources. Captive sources. So how does the government take money? One thing is this: treasury bill, treasury bond. If they undersubscribe, so how do they get the balance? They have captive sources. What are the captive sources? Especially the famous name is EPF, Employee Provident Fund. Employee Provident Fund. So if you see the central bank figures recently, you can see the treasury, the government security holding of central bank has gone up. Central bank what? So how do they do that? They're printing money. So the money printed, the central bank holding goes up means printing money has gone up. They print money and invest, right? The money and print, they print money and invest. So the central bank holding has gone up drastically, right? So we have seen from recent weeks several auctions are undersubscribed. Undersubscribed in the sense that people, it doesn't mean that people are not bidding. Now see 40 billion requirement, the people have put 55.1 billion. More than the requirement, more than the offered amount they have put, but the government has not accepted. Government has not accepted. Why is that? There are two reasons. Now we know two reasons is, now see, now I told you now this 4.67, 4.78, 5.01 is a cap rate given by the government. So you can't put. Now who is this who? So I'm referring to you means who? People means who? So initially this is auction. So government intention is to take money from us, people in the country. But can we participate at the auction? No. So if I say we can participate, so government has, we have put bid, it means who? Primary dealers. It means primary dealers, right? So you and I can't, but there is a method. There is an exemption given. If it is 5 million rupees, you can ask still a primary dealer to put bid on behalf of you. So that's a different matter. So the primary dealers only can be participate. Now these 10. Now see? These people, right? These people. Right. So why? So there can be a question on that. Requirement 40, bid received 55, but accepted 26. Why? So before this method, now now this year only, March or April onwards only, we have this cap rate, minimum yield rate. Before that it wasn't there. So we can assume that people, the primary dealers have put bids at a higher yield. That can be happen. Ceiling means you can't go beyond that. The cap rate, you can't go beyond that. primary dealers are not allowed to bid beyond that rate. Now 3 months rate. Now 91 we know we call 3. 182 days we call it 6 months, right? 364 1 year always. So none of the primary dealers can put bids for 3 months more than 467. But there are some occasions if they don't know. Now what happened if you put bid at 467, government will take it. Sometimes they can take it, they can reject it depending on their requirement. Now for example, now 3 months 12 billion wanted, 15 received, 7 only accepted, same rate. So sometimes it can be happen like this. If you don't want to invest your money, now see the words I'm using. If you don't want to invest, who? Primary dealers. So initially primary dealers la gihila me auction එකෙන් treasury bill ගන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි what is that market we call primary market. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි යාලා ගිහිල්ලා sell කරන්නේ කාටද? සාමාන්‍ය ජනතාවට. එයාලගේ customers ලා. එතකොට එතන එයා ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියන primary dealer මේක ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියන්නේ එයා හිතනවා මිනිස්සු ඇවිල්ලා මේ 3 months treasury bill මේ rate එකට ගන්න එකක් නැහැ. මට එතකොට primary dealer එතකොට තියාගෙන ඉන්න වෙනවා. එතකොට is it worthwhile for me to invest if the people does not buy 3 months treasury bill from the primary dealer, particular primary dealer? For example, we say commercial bank is a primary dealer. Commercial bank has put bid in this auction. They are succeeding. Now say එයාට හම්බුණා 1 billion හම්බුණා 4.67ට. Then he has this, that is his asset. Commercial, now customer comes to the commercial bank, ඉල්ලනවා අනේ මට මේ latest auction එකකින් treasury bill එකක් දෙන්නකෝ කියලා. 500 million ඉල්ලනවා කියමු, දෙනවා. 4.64 දෙනවද? නෑ, we have been learning later 4.64 වඩා අඩුවෙන් තමයි දෙන්නේ. Why? They want to make a profit. So how does the percentage, when you're giving a lower percentage, how can you make a profit? We will be learning later. Why? We always telling you there should be there is a relationship between the price and the yield. So when the price goes up from particular price level, yield should come down. Now yield has come down. මං කව 4.64 ගත්ත එක අපි 4.60ට දෙන්නේ. The yield has come down. 4.67 තියෙන 4.60ට. So the price should go up. හරිද? මම 80ට ගත්ත එක මම විකුණනවා 90ට. I'm making profit or not? Yes, similar way, right? When doing the calculation, which is more important, right? To have get to know. We'll be learning later. Now, for example, now 500 million, I can sell it. So I have another balance 500. I want to sell. I don't want. Then why did you invest? Why did you go for the auction? Since I am a primary dealer, I have been given the license to participate at this auction. Now everybody is not given this license. So then I should go. Mama කැමති වුණත් අකමැති වුණත් මට සල්ලි තිබුණත් නැතත් I should participate at this auction. Why? I have been given, only 10 people are there like me. So I have to use this authority to participate at the auction. Why? That only 10 people have been given the license, right? So මට ඕනේ මේක sell කරන්න, but people are not there to buy. So what do? So I have to keep that treasury bill as my asset. බදාද auction එකට ගිහලා මේක successful වුණාම සිකුරාදා you have to pay. Later you decide whether you will be keeping particular amount with you, your bank, or sell it to somebody. It's up to you. It's up to the primary dealer. Central bank is not worrying about it. So then එහෙනම් primary dealer ගේ එකක් තියෙනවා. Primary dealer හිතනවා නම් මම මේක ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්නේ නැහැ. මට මේක වැඩක් නැහැ මේ 4.67ට දාලා මේ ඇයි මං ඊට වඩා මං මේ මගේ borrowing cost එක වැඩිනේ. Cost of funds වැඩිනේ. ඒ හින්දා මම මේක ගන්නෙ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වම ඒතර එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? At the auction, so they put 4.67 වලට වඩා පොඩ්ඩක් විතර උඩට දාන අවස්ථාවල් we have seen, but it is central bank is not saying anything, I suppose. But if you put 4.67 or below, all the bids should be successful. Sometimes even you put at 4.67 yield rate at bid, they are not taking. Why? We don't know actually the inside information. මේ 15 billion ම 4.64 දාපු ඒවාද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතර obviously 4.64 නේ cap rate එක. 4.64 වඩා below නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඒගොල්ලෝ accept කරනවා. හැබැයි සමහරට දාන්නත් ඇති 4.64 වඩා අපි කියමු 10 billion දැම්ම කියලා. හැබැයි මට හිතෙනවා මට ඕනේ 12ක්. මට හිතෙනවා නෑ මං ගන්න ඕනේ නෑ. එච්චර. මං ගන්න ඕනේ නෑ මම මේ වෙන ක්‍රමයකින් මං සල්ලි හොයාගෙන මේක ගෙවලා දානවා. That can be happen. So lot of options are available for central bank. So we don't know why they have not accepted the entire 15. Sometimes people must have put, people might have put 1 pip above the cap rate. There are some possibilities. If you want to avoid this bid to be successful, you can put 4.68, but which is not correct. Why? They have given the maximum rate. But anyway, if you put 4.68, your bids are not successful. Why? ගන්න අපි වැඩිම ගන්න රේට් එක 4.64 කියලා කියලා තියෙනවා. 4.68 දැම්මොත් ගන්න බෑ. නමුත් there is a accepted, there is not a prescribed rule that you can't put above this, but the maximum yield rate means, so the maximum, the amount central bank to be accepted for 3 months treasury bill should be kept 4.67. So primary dealers are interpreting that, okay, that is their rate, so we will be putting 4.68, 4.69, which is not going to be successful. That can be happen. That can be happen. We don't know that is the reason why they have not accepted entire 15 million. So that can be happen. So many reasons. We don't know actually what has happened. But anyway, only thing we can say, 12 million wanted to raise, 15 they received, 7 only accepted. So somebody can ask how the balance is to be financed. There are captive sources. So we call it captive sources. The example is EPF. So you ask EPF to put money. You ask EPF to put money. So that is the way they are doing. Otherwise, they can ask the central bank to invest. So how does the central bank invest? By printing money. So those are the things we should know. And only thing what we can, what you have to do is understand the advertisement. This is the advertisement published by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka to issue treasury bills. And these are the 10 primary dealers available at the moment to participate at the treasury bill, treasury bond, SLDB auctions. Right? It's not SLDB. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Treasury bill and treasury bond auction. Right? Primary dealers. Now, if the examiner asks for 2 marks question, what is the primary dealer? So they actually participating at the primary auctions, treasury bill, treasury bond auctions. Right? They are the primary dealers. Right. Now, bond also we have, I think we have done this previous week. Similar thing, but there are some features differences. Right. It's available on in your notes. We have discussed the coupon rate came into the scene, which is not there in treasury bill. Treasury bill වලදී අපි දන්නවා coupon rate එක තිබුණේ. Right. Now the coupon rate has come, and premium discount par we have been discussing. Remember, premium is anything above 100. Discount means anything below 100. Par means it's 100. Now in Sri Lanka, we have a nominal value is 100, but treasury bill is always at discounted price. Always at discounted price. You can't have nominal value treasury bill, premium, nothing, no, it's wrong, always at a discounted price. So the treasury bill can't be sold at 100, basically at the auction. You can't have this. Why? It's a discounted instrument, like commercial paper. No? It's a discounted instrument. Remember that, right? And also remember the LKB and import. So J means the what? J means what? The English letter is what? The month. On your left hand side, the year, right hand side, the date, right? Only missing part we remember that the accrued interest part we'll be doing later. Coupon rate important. So what is the similar instrument you issue? Now this is treasury bond. What is the similar instrument you issue? Your bank issue, your financial institution issue. What is the similar instrument? Debenture. Debenture is very much similar. There is no any difference. There are slight differences, but actually almost the similar. Only the issue is different. Now here the issue is who? Central Bank of Sri Lanka on behalf of the government. Debentures, private firms. But the debentures, the interest payment can be varied. It can be monthly, it can be quarterly, it can be semi-annual, it can be annual, anyway. But treasury bonds, coupon interest rate, always semi-annual. So I'm repeating, right? I'm just repeating. Semi-annual. Semi-annual. You can't have, that was an examination question. So generally, what is the interest frequency payment? 6 months. Right? Now we have identified that here. Remember that date of coupon. April ගෙවුවම මාස 6කට පස්සේ October. March ගෙවුවට පස්සේ මාස 6කට පස්සේ September. January ගෙවුවට පස්සේ මාස 6කට පස්සේ July. So how do you get to know the interest coupon interest payment? So we have given a tip on the maturity. How do you find out the maturity? One thing is examiner can give you. This is the maturity date. Otherwise, you can use this. Remember, this is the maturity. 23rd is the maturity year. J, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J. That is the month. A means January. B means February. C means March, like that. So the 01 is the maturity. So you can find out the maturity by using ISIN number. On the maturity date, you are receiving a coupon. That's the tip. On the maturity date, you are receiving the coupon. One coupon is due on the maturity date. So then you can back calculate. So maturity date වලට හම්බ වෙන එකක් ඊට කලින් හම්බෙන්න ඕනේ එකක් මාස 6කට ඉස්සෙල්ලා. හැම අවුරුද්දෙම ඒක සිමිලර්. ඉතින් අපි කියමු එක අවුරුද්දක හම්බුණා කියලා ඔක්තෝබර් හැම අවුරුද්දෙම ඔක්තෝබර් එදා හම්බ වෙනවා. හැම අවුරුද්දෙම ඔක්තෝබර් එදා හම්බ වෙනවා. Until it gets matured. ඒ මාස දෙක දවස් දෙක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. The maturity date cannot be changed once you invest. Maturity date should be the same. So then everything is constant. Once you find out once, constant, right? There can't be any change on the date. Why? The maturity date is not changing. According to this part, I will explain to you. And here, so examiner has not tested so far by using by giving any advertisement like this, and they have not raised any question, but they have raised questions different ways. They have given the calculation of bond price. How do you find out the pricing? They have done that. That is will be doing it. Giving this now. If you given the exam, if you get the exam, this kind of advertisement, then you don't want to worry about. This is familiar to you now. Everything is here. Now see, this is the, you can't change this advertisement, right? This is a government publication. So if you get anything on this as a question, this should be the case. Figures can be changed, but if the figures also change, you can't. You have to change this. I think you'll be giving a actual one only. So this is the actual one. There can't be any change. Any question on this? Any gray area? So apart from this accrued interest part, everything is similar. 5 million exemption is anyway here. which is also available at treasury bills. Primary dealers, yes, here also the same. You can. Coupon is coming and discount premium par is coming. Par, if it is a new bond, then only you can issue. So I was telling last year, the government has borrowing limit. So the government has borrowing limit. So then they can't exceed that borrowing limit. Now, what do you mean by now this accrued interest part comes into the picture because of previously issued one. Previously issued කියලා කියන්නේ අපි කියමු government එකට issue කරන්න තියෙනවා bonds වල 100 example. Maximum 100 is the limit for the government to issue under treasury bonds. Example. This is one of the bonds. Now they need to raise money. These are the three bonds, right? අපි ගමු first column එකේ bond එක. This is first. Now they are going to issue it. Previously issued one. If it is previously issued, can it be at par? You can't. Now, when you issue a debenture, your bank, your financial institution, when you issue a debenture, it can be, it is always, not always, it may be at par. We have seen always it is at par. It's a new issue, fresh issue. If it is fresh, previously not issued, then at par, provided that it is normal debenture. There are some deep discounting instrument, so then you will be issuing at a discount. That's a different issue. That is a particular instrument. Now, if you're issuing a normal debenture, general debenture, it is at generally it is at par, right? So why if it is not at par, there is a accrued interest. If it is not at par, there is a accrued interest part. If it is not at par means what? Either discount, either premium. CA bond එකක් මම 110ට ගත්තොත් මට කෙනෙක් කියන්න පුළුවන් you have purchased this bond at a premium. CA bond එකක් මම 110ට ගන්නවා. කෙනෙකුට හිතන්න පුළුවන් දැන් මේකේ තියෙන beauty එක we discussed that part as well. On the maturity, you are getting a face value. Face value in Sri Lanka, we know that generally we go as 100. Face value 100. 100 එකක් ගැන තමයි අපි මේ කතා කරන්නේ. 100 එකක් ගන්නවා 110 වලට. 100 එකක් ගන්නවා 98 වලට, 90 වලට. So then we can calculate, we can have a kind of sense that then whether you are purchasing this bond at a premium or discount or par. Now 100 තමයි මට on the maturity හම්බෙන්නේ, which is not there in the treasury bill. Coupon comes into the picture with regard to treasury bond. Accrued interest comes. Face value comes. Face value කියලා කියන්නේ not the investment amount. Investment amount may be completely different from the face value. So on the maturity, treasury bonds, you are getting a face value. Each and every treasury bond, you are getting a face value on the maturity. So for the calculation purpose, we put 100. Why? අපිට 100 අපිට එකක යුනිට් එකක වටිනාකම දැනගත්තොත් අපිට පුළුවන් ද බැයිද මේක හොයාගන්න? පුළුවන්. then අපිට එක යුනිට් එකක වටිනාකම හොයාගත්තොත් අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ ගානට calculation එක හදාගන්න. So එක යුනිට් එකක ගාන හොයාගත්තොත් අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ calculation එක හදාගන්න. We'll be doing it later. So then we can understand how this happens, right? Don't worry about it. So we'll be learning it. So එක යුනිට් එකක price එක තමයි we are initially finding out. එක යුනිට් එකක price එක තමයි we are finding out, right? So then basically whether it's now for example, now say now if the examiner or somebody asks you are purchasing this particular bond at 110. Is it worthwhile for you to take it? So if somebody asks you like that, what is your view? What does it mean? Today you purchase this particular bond at 110, but ultimately on the maturity, how much you are receiving? Think about the 1 unit price, 100. Face value we are receiving on the maturity, 100. අද 110ට ගත්ත එකක් මට උතර වර්ද්ද මට අවුරුදු අවසානයේ හම්බෙන්නේ 100. Yes. Yes. So when you're doing the calculation, you will understand. But this is a problem. This is actually the gray area for the auditors as well. So last week we discussed that gray area as well. So they come and ask, now why did you purchase this particular bond at premium? Is it worth or you're losing? Today you have purchased at 110, but on the maturity you are receiving 100. Don't you think it's a loss? It is not loss. It is not loss. We'll be learning that. So even the premium bonds is worthwhile you to purchase. How does it happen? By yield, there is a compensation. Now, yield and the coupon, two different terms. Remember. Now, in the treasury bill, if you say this 4.67, 4.78, 5.08, it's a yield. Treasury bill yield rate. Now, weighted average yield rate. I think we have learned this. How does this weight? Why does it call weighted, right? And also why these odd numbers coming? ඇයි එක 4යි 65 උනේ? ඇයි එක 4යි 80 උනේ? ඇයි එක 5යි 5 උනේ? You have learned that as well. So when you weight it and different people's bid, 10 people's bid, you don't round off, right? So but it's still coupon rate and the yield, there is a difference. So we'll be learning that as well. So I'm actually giving you the background and the base for you to learn. So if you know that when you do the calculation, if you know that coupon rate and yield, okay, can't be the coupon rate similar as yield, can be. Percentages දෙකක් නේ. 6%, 10% coupon rate, yield rate at 10% එන්න පුළුවන්, but not always. Always you can't say that coupon rate and the yield is similar. It is not similar. Two different things. It is rate and the higher කියන percentage එක එන්න පුළුවන් දෙකේම එකට. That is coincident. But there are two terms. Okay. And also remember that 2 days after only maturity comes, settlement comes, right? ISIN number. And also I just wanted to give you a little on this SLDB, which is more important now, right? The government is looking for some dollars, right? Now how do they raise dollars? How does the government raise dollars? කොහොමද government එක dollars හම්බෙන්නේ? කොහොමද dollars අපේ රටට හම්බෙන්නේ? So you should know these things. General information. How does the dollars coming to Sri Lanka? So one thing is, you know that exports, right? We do exports. And what is the other thing? Tourism, FDIs, right? International borrowing. Remittances, worker remittances, right? Now you know, now the central bank has published only 10-month figures. So the significant thing is what? Significant thing is, talk about relating to this dollar inflows to Sri Lanka, right? Significant thing is worker remittances has increased. Worker remittances has increased. compared to the previous 2019. Now 2019 altogether, entire year, we received 6.7 billion US dollars as worker remittances. 2018, we have received 7 billion. $7 billion to Sri Lanka entire year 2018. 2019, you know, there is a occurrence happened in April. Due to that, we have received 0.3%. I'm sorry, 0.3 million, 300 million reduction compared to 2018. Now 2020, we have just completed. Central Bank has published figures only up to October. There is an increase 5.6 billion up to September, up to October we have received to the country. So basically now they have indicating, expecting that this time it will go beyond 6.7 billion. 6.7 billion, right? So it's a remarkable achievement during this pandemic situation. So, right, you know that expatriates, people who are working abroad, coming to Sri Lanka, they started to come to Sri Lanka this year, right? Early part of this year, they have been doing it. So they have lost their jobs as well. We don't know when they can go back to their jobs. It's very difficult to say. Then how does this worker remittances flow to Sri Lanka has increased? It has increased. How does it happen? මිනිසුන්ට රස්සාවලුත් නැත්නම් මිනිසුන්ට වැඩ කරන්නත් බැයි නම් පඩි කපනවා නම් එහෙත් එහෙමනේ. එහෙත් එහෙමයි. So how does this has happened? You as bank or you as young people in this country, these are fundamental economic factors. You don't need any rocket science or any additional knowledge to know this. If you read papers, I told you in the first lecture to read papers, you know this. I think you should know. So this is, everybody should know this, why this remittances has increased. And also you know that the government is basically looking for dollars. Now they have extended SDA account, right? You know that, bankers know. Special deposit account, now up to April. They have extended that as well. So they need dollars. And they have introduced recently, remember that hedging mechanism, when you invest in treasury bonds, which currency you invest? Rupiah. So I am a foreign investor. I'm just deviating, right? Since it came into the scene. So I'm foreign investor. මම $1 එකක් ගෙනව ලංකාවට. So I can't invest my dollars in treasury bonds. Why? It's a rupee denominated instrument. It's a rupee denominated instrument. Right? So then I convert this into rupees. That's why we have a topic given by the examiner, proprietary trading, where we learn. If you give me 185, but you convert into rupiah. So then you invest 185 rupees, example only, right? You invest in treasury bond, 5-year treasury bond. After 5 years, මගේ රටට යන්න ඕනි. So then what is the amount available? So you see that 190 with the interest and everything, 190. It is in your account. In what is the currency? Rupees. So I am the foreign investor. Do I need any use in rupees? Do you see any use for me to have further rupees in my account? No need. Why I am going back to my country? So then I need to convert this into foreign currency, easy dollars. I have 190 in my account. I go to your bank and ask, please convert this into dollars. Now, can you ask, another question comes. You have rupees in your account. Can you go to your bank and ask, මට මේකට dollars දෙන්න කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්? You can't, right? You can't hold dollars. So if you go abroad and if you come to Sri Lanka, anything excess if you have, you can hold until 3 months expires. Within 3 months, you'll have a deposit in your RFC or NRFC. Now it's PFC account. Right? So a PFC account with damham or dollars are you can take it dollars when you go abroad only. Right? Then you have to draw your PFC accounts in rupee terms. Right? So then may customer when investor comes to Sri Lanka, what's the account they are using? Previously SIA, now it's IIA. So anything foreigner brings money to Sri Lanka, any foreigner brings money to Sri Lanka through IIA account, they can take it back. They can take it back. So it is legally allowed. So then what's the account? IIA, inward investment account, right? So only you can take it back. Now he wants to take it back. He goes to the bank and you check is it legal? Yes, legal. Why? They have brought this money through IIA account. You convert it into dollars. He gives you, the bank manager gives you $1. How much you brought here to Sri Lanka? $1. How much you take it back? $1. So what happened to your interest? He checked it. Why? What's the interest rate? What's the exchange rate now? It has depreciated. Rupee has depreciated to 190 after 5 years time. You brought $1, you bring it back, you take it back again $1. So have you earned anything for 5 years? Nothing. You have not earned anything for 5 years. So the one thing is foreigners not coming to Sri Lanka is to pay depreciation. They don't want to. So they are actually want to have stabilized exchange rate. Any country, stabilized exchange rate. It can be depreciated. It can be appreciated. So that's a different issue. But there can be a stabilized. There may be depreciation, there can be appreciation, but it has to be constant all over the years. Now, 2018, we had 18% depreciation. 2019, we had appreciation, 1% value. Now, 2020, again, we have depreciation. Now, 181 වලට තමයි අපි මේ අවුරුද්ද පටන් ගත්තේ 181.60. Now ended up 186.6. එතකොට 181.86 කියන රුපියල් 5ක depreciation එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. You put a percentage. Calculate the percentage how much the rupee has depreciated. Right? So that's why foreigners are not coming to Sri Lanka. That is one thing. To avoid this obstacle, government has introduced hedging mechanism for the foreigners. Government has introduced hedging mechanism for foreigners. What is that? What is that mechanism? So you bring money to Sri Lanka and you will be not exposed to any foreign exchange risk. How does it do? Mechanism will be talked about later. Then bank has to do any swap arrangement with the central bank. So word may be new, but we will be learning under proprietary trading as well. So it is important now. Recently only introduced. August again, I can remember, if I'm not mistaken, government has introduced. You foreigners bring money to Sri Lanka, you invest in treasury bill, treasury bond, you are not exposed to any exchange devaluation, exchange depreciation. So that can be taken care of by the central bank. So how does the central bank taken care of? Central bank has a swap agreement. We'll be learning later what this swap is. Swap agreement with the bank. So then everything foreign exchange exposure is covered. Exposure is covered, right? Now, methods of we have been now this is the additional thing, right, which is not available in YouTube. It's not available in recently only introduced. Right? 25 billion is the maximum amount you can invest, foreigner can invest in Sri Lanka. So then he will be not exposed to any foreign exchange risk. That is a special mechanism introduced to promote more foreign funds to Sri Lanka. Right? Now exports, international borrowing, remittances increased. No, I tell you the reason. Now generally Hawala and Undial method. Have you heard that method? So what happens is, now if somebody works abroad, they need to send money to Sri Lanka, rupee terms. They are actually giving to somebody the particular country where they live, where they work, and the foreign currency. Now this particular agent does not send money to Sri Lanka. Foreign currency money, they don't send foreign currency to Sri Lanka. Instead of what do they do? They deliver rupees to your account. They deposit rupees to your account. So the foreign currency does not come into Sri Lanka. එහි තියෙන foreign currency එකේ මම ගිහිල්ලා වැඩ කරනවා නම් ඒ ඒජන්ට් දුන්නාම එයා රුපියල් amount එකක් මට දෙනවා. පහුවෙන්ද වෙනකොට මොකද කරන්නේ? ලංකාවේ කෙනෙක් ගිහලා මගේ account එකට deposit කරන රුපියල් amount එක. So that's the Undial and Hawala methods. So it now during this pandemic situation, you can't do that. You can't accept people to come into the bank, right? You can't have people to meet. Now sometimes people are delivering to doorstep rupees account එකට දාන්න ඒ third party credit නේ problem නේ මිනිසුන්ට ළඟට ගිහලා සල්ලි currency වලින් දෙන අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් foreign currency does not come into Sri Lanka. So actually it has stopped now. So the informal channel has shifted to formal channels. Right now, by October, entire country there is a 2.6% increase cumulative compared to the previous. There is October 2.6% increase. Now the bank has calculated. So some state banks have achieved their target as well. It's a huge amount, right, of foreign currency has received to country. So that's a remarkable achievement during this pandemic situation. That is the only positive sign we have been seen for the country so far. So we need to maintain that future as well. So that's why government has introduced what? 2 rupee incentive. When you convert through banking channel your foreign currency, you are entitled to have additional 2 rupees. Now it's been effective now from 28th of December. Anything you convert existing foreign currency to Sri Lanka rupees, you get additional 2 rupees. So that actually gives an incentive to you not to go to outside money exchanges. There is a market available here. You can have better rupee value than the banks, right? Money exchanges are there. So now the bank pays. Now you go to the bank, give these dollars to the banking system. We will give you more 2 rupees, additional 2 rupees, so like that, right? Now what is this? So once we complete this advertisement type and we get to familiar these terms, then very easy for us to continue. So the balance part, so we can finish it off probably within 1 week and a half. Pricing calculation, it won't take much time. I'll be doing some example with you. Then we'll be moving to project appraisal. That is our next topic. So now this particular instrument will be taking under proprietary trading only, right? But under issue management, this is also something. So what is important for us to get to know this kind of instrument? Us means what? We are working in the investment banking division. Why? What is the use of for us to get to know this? Generally, foreign investor comes and asking, is there any dollar investment opportunities for me? This is one. Rupee investment, of course, treasury bill, treasury bonds there. Dollar instrument, foreigners can invest in SLDB, of course. you can do that. You can do that, right? This is also an auction, but who can be participate at the exchange? Remember, this is not for primary dealers. This is not for primary dealers. Why? Primary dealers don't have dollars. They don't have dollars. They have only rupees. Primary dealers can't take dollar deposits, right? Only the commercial bank can take, right? Now see this instrument, important instrument. Right, okay. And also remember, this is the one of the methods government raise dollar funds. Now remember, this method is used to raise locally. Locally in the sense Sri Lanka. මේක ලංකාවේ ඇතුලේ තමයි මේක ඉෂුව කරන්නේ. So then එනම් පිටරටත් ඉෂුව කරනවා තියෙනවා. Yes. ISB, International Sovereign Bonds. International Sovereign Bonds. So those are things you should know. This is internally generated. Internal one. In Sri Lanka. Auction based. And also remember, there are offshore, outside Sri Lanka, there are methods. ISB is one, or other one is you directly borrowing. You go internationally borrowing. There are few methods for you to raise dollars. Government to raise dollars. Now, this is advertisement put by the government. Domestic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka Development Bonds, Treasury Bonds denominated in US dollars. This is also auction. Now see, currency dollars. These are the tenors. Now see the interest rate, fixed rate and floating interest rate. Now, do we see anything similar to Treasury bill? No. Do we see anything similar to Treasury bond? No. Do we see anything similar to debenture? Yes. Yes. Who issues debenture? You issue debenture. Your bank issue debenture. Private firms issue debenture. Private companies issue debenture. Private banks issue debenture. But the government can't. The government bank issue debenture? They can't. They can issue debenture. But remember that in the first lecture I have told you, now these days banks are issuing convertible debentures. Convertible means what? You convert this liability if the depending on the investor, depending on the investor or issuer, you convert this debenture into shares. That is the option given to whom? Investor. Shares. But the state banks, can the state bank issue convertible debenture? They can't. Why? So sole owner is who? The government. The private banks will be later. Exam has not tested. High chance of testing, right? Convertible debenture. What is the feature? So then now recently the government banks have issued one government bank has issued tier 1 instrument. Callable option is there. So the similar to convertible debenture, similar instrument government banks issue callable instrument. Tier 1 instrument. So why this normal debentures issue කරන්න පුළුවන් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ to raise funds. So why private banks issue convertible debentures? Why the government bank issue tier 1 instrument? They need to take this particular money into capital. Money into capital. So when you're doing the shares, we'll be learning. So what are the methods for you to raise funds, for the companies to raise funds? One thing is you can issue shares. Share issue කරපුවාම company සල්ලි එනවා. New shares. Right issue. These are the methods of money coming to the company. Right issue. Right issue is for whom? We're learning later. For the time we remember, for the existing shareholder. Another thing is what? Not bonus issue, right? That was a question. When the bonus issues occurred, will there be any cash flows? No. Bonus issue කියලා කියන්නේ 10 දෙක මාරුන විතරයි. Reserve වලින් shares වලට එන එක විතරයි. We'll be learning later that under shares. Now that is the method, companies. But debenture, you can issue it if you want to raise funds, but you can't take into the capital. Why? Special feature is not there. What is the feature? Convertible option. Then you can't. අපේ රටේ බැංකු වලට financial institution වලට සල්ලි තියෙනවා. They don't want to issue debenture. They want to issue convertible debenture. Why? They can get money plus they can take this into capital. It's a borrowing, but you can take into the capital while you fulfill in the features which is required by the Basel III. Now remember that all these terms are banking terms. So remember that the examiner can test you. So I told you examiner has tested on the options for 2 marks. Options means hedging instrument. We'll be learning under proprietary trading, but it's a hedging instrument. 2 mark question. It's available on YouTube, but we have not in depth learned this, right? So examiner can test you anywhere. The only thing you have to be keep with all these syllabus contents. It's available. So anything we learn, anything we talk here, important. We'll be actually not confined to the syllabus content or the PowerPoint presentation, right? You can see that. So I'm talking about different scenarios. Different scenarios, different terms, different incidents, which sometimes may be important for you to answer in the examination question, right? Please remember. So talking about this remittances, that which is not available in nutrition, it is a new thing this year happened, right? So now see, now interest payment, fixed floating, which was not there, but here it's there. And also not there what? Currency is anyway not there. Semi-annual, that's true. Even it is fixed, even it is floating, semi-annual. And also another similar word is, I want to show it to you. Where is that? Okay, it's not available. I can't see that. Now what I want to tell you is, now if you say interest rate in dollars, so generally you go by, if it is US dollars, generally you go by LIBOR, London Interbank Offer Rate. LIBOR. Now fixed now, no issue. Fixed, it's no issue. If it is floating, floating means what? Variable. Changes happening. Frequency, semi-annual. Interest payment is semi-annual. Interest payment common to these two. Semi-annual, changes happening. Why? Floating. Float means changing. Variable. 2 options. Fixed means what? if you select this 1 year and 2 months, 1 year and 2 months වෙනකම්ම මේක fix. මේ අවුරුද්දයි මාස දෙකක් ඇතුළත 6 මාසෙට සැරයක් පොලියක් ගෙවනවා ඔයාට. right, semi annual. අපි හිතමු ඔයා දැම්ම මේ 4 years and 2 months 4 years and 2 months වල ඉන්වෙස්ට් කළොත් එimhe ඩොලර්ස් ඔයා හැම මාස 6කට සැරයක් ඔයාට පොලියක් හම්බ වෙනවා. If you invest under this option, you get every 6 months semi-annually interest until it's get matured. If you put floating, still you get 6 month interest. Still you get 6 month interest. But what's the difference? Fixed and floating. Every 6 months, interest is reset. Every 6 months, interest it is reset. There was a question on this. There was a question on this, and examiner has given you giving some dates, and asking what is the interest rate for next 6 months. Easy calculation if you know the background. If you know the background. Floating means every 6 months interest rate changes. අපි කියමුකෝ මේක තිබ්බා කියලා මේ 1 year and 2 months කතාව වයින් කරලා 1 year තිබ්බා කියලා. So how many interest rate cycles you are entitled to? 6 months ඒවා දෙකක් තියෙනවානේ. And also another thing we know, on the maturity I am getting interest. අවුරුද්දයි නම් මාස 6ව 2යි I am getting 2 semi-annual interest. That we know. 2 semi-annual interest. 2 semi-annual interest. So floating means what? Now say today you invest this. Now for example, now date of settlement. When is the date of auction? Open from 11 hours on 10th November. This is the latest auction, right? After that there was no any auction. 10th November 2020 to 10 hours on 13. Now make a දවස් 3ක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඔයාට bid කරන්න. Which we have not seen under treasury bill, which we have not seen under treasury bond. This is different in many ways. Currency, the interest rate, the reference rate, what do you mean by reference rate? Here the LIBOR reference rate. Variable rate was not there under treasury bill, treasury bond. Debentures, yes, possible. That is your issue, your bank issue, right? LIBOR. So may 10 වෙනි ඉඳන් 13 වෙනි දක්වා you are allowed to bid. When is the settlement? 18. So now everything now say you have 1 year bill, 1 year and 2 months එකක් ගත්තා November 18 දිනකට your bid was successful. Why? Auction is an auction. It's an auction, right? This is an auction. So you put bid, your bids were successful. On the 18th November, ඔයාගේ ඩොලර් ටික ඔයා මොකද කරේ? ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරලා ඔයාට හම්බ වෙනවා. අද හිතන්නකො November 18. එතකොට today you invested. When do you legally receive the interest payment? After 6 months from today. After 6 months from 18 November 2020. 6 months from that date onward. සමහර වෙලාවට මේ ඉෂුව කරපු ඒවම ඉෂුව කරනකොට සමහරලා ඔඩ් ඩේට්ස් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් November 18 අපි මේ ඔප්ෂන් එක ඉෂුව කරාට previously ඉෂුව කරපු ඒවායි SLDB න තව ඉතුරුලා තියෙනවා නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඒවා වෙන කාලවල ඉෂුව කරපු වෙන්න. එතකොට අර 6 month එකෙන් නැතුව එක කඩලනවා. But you don't want to worry about it. But you remember like this 18th issue කරා after 6 month time you are receiving interest. Then another 6 month time you are receiving another interest for if you invest in this particular instrument every 6 month time. Okay, every 6 month time you are receiving this. So today after give make 18 November, when is the 6 month comes? November 18, December, January, February, March, April, May. 18th of May 2021 you should receive one first semi-annual coupon. Even you invest under fixed, even you invest under floating. So May, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. May දහට හම් වෙන coupon එක. When do you decide? That's the examiner's question. Today you decide. 18 November. You have a LIBOR today available. You have a LIBOR today available. 6-month LIBOR. 6-month LIBOR. Generally, we go by 6-month LIBOR plus margin. Margin is not there. May pricing, who will be deciding the pricing? These people, eligible investors. Now see, you can identify now by looking at this. This is the result sheet. Now see. This is the result sheet. Now see. This is important. Now see, 1 year and 2 months fixed. How much bid received? $7.37. Now amount accepted how much? 7.17. That is fixed. That is firm. That is fixed. Weighted average fixed rate 6.68. Now can you see anything variable? Can you now has anybody put under variable? No. No one has. Floating rate arrangement not offered. Floating rate arrangement not offered. Now, in the advertisement, option is available. People must have put, who are the people eligible investors? These people. They must have put floating. Why they have not offered? Why they have not offered? Definitely they know. If the people are allowed to offer, they put higher rates. Why? Now, when you're working in the investment banking division, now you are controlling my money. You are managing my money. So how do you decide? Now say, now here, they are, for example, we say, not offered, to allow, two options are available generally. Specifically, if they say not offered, අපි කියමු මේකත් යන්න පුළුවන්. So that's why the government has, that's why I'm looking for LIBOR rate. Now, generally we can see the previous auctions, these options are available. Now here they have specifically say not available, otherwise they say 6-month LIBOR plus. The margin will be decided. Now here they have categorically says not offered. But for example, we say fixed and floating. Two options are available for you to invest. Which option you select? How do you decide? Depending on the future interest rate. Now say one bank issue a debenture, Sri Lanka rupees. One bank issues debenture Sri Lanka. One bank issue a debenture Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan rupees. Floating and fixed possible? Dekam options are available. So then how do you decide? Now say you, your money, your hard-earned money, ඔයා හිතනවා ඔයාගේ බැංකුවේ ඩිබෙන්චර් එක ඉෂුව කරනවා fixed and floating. මම floating දානවද fixed දානවද? So how do you decide? Options are available. Fixed and floating. These are the question examiner test you for 5 marks. Every session. If you see 7 and 8 question, the lengthy type, essay type question, this is the question. But base is similar. So when the student sees this question 7 and 8, least answered question. Why? It's a lengthy question, text type question, but the answer is nothing. So my advice is not to skip kind of question. Similar question they're asking. They're giving the scenario lengthy, but asking how do you decide whether you invest in fixed or floating? Same answer. Fixed down the floating down, how do you decide? Your money now, right? You have money 10,000. You decide whether you go for 3 months FD rupiah or 1 year FD. How do you decide? කොහොමද decide කරන්නේ? 3 months යනවද 1 year යනවද කියලා? Simple. Same question. Examiner test you for 5 marks. කොහොම තීරණය කරන්නේ? තීරණය කරන්නේ නැතුව දානවා. No. Your decision is even without intentionally now, without any intention you take this decision, there is a base for this decision. ඉස්සරහදී interest rate වැඩි වෙනවා නම් මම මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? Should I invest 1 year or 3 months? ඉස්සරහදී interest rate වැඩි වෙනවා නම් should I invest my money for short term or long term? That's the question. That's the question examiner asks you. ඉස්සරහදී interest rate වැඩි වෙනවා නම් ඔයා යන්නේ short term. 3 months දානවා වැඩි වෙනවා. 3 months වලින් මම ආපහු invest කරනවා. same rate ද නෑ. වැඩි වෙනවනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? තව ටිකක් වැඩිපුර මම invest කරනවා. Do you invest long term now? We are the lowest regime of interest now. You are blocking your money for long term at a lowest rate? No. Rational investor doesn't do that. Same question. If you add colors to your answer, if you see like this, if the yield curve is at increasing trend, then you go for short term. That's a technical word. You're using technical word for you can tell the examiner, I know something more than others. If you use the word yield curve, same thing. ඉස්සරහදී interest rate අඩු වෙනවා නම් දැන් මම block කරනවා long term. Simple. You do it the same thing. You do the same thing, but without any intention. You don't know. Now, some people don't know yield curve. නමුත් අපිට හිතන්න පුළුවන් ඉස්සරහදී interest rate වැඩි වෙනවද කියලා සාමාන්‍ය අහනවනේ customers level වල ගන්නේ. මම මේක short term මේක 3 months දාන්නද 6 months දාන්න. ඒතර වාගේ interest rate නෑ මේක තව වැටෙයි පල්ලෙහාට. එතන මොකද ගහන්නේ නම් මම මේක 1 year දාන්න කියලා. Same thing, but only thing you should convert this general understanding into technical understanding. That's all. That's all. Now see the eligibility investors. Now what I want to tell you is fixed, floating is not offered, but only thing if they offered the floating, it has to be under LIBOR base. And also understand this before we move into understand this result sheet. Bid receive 7.3, accept the 7.1, weighted average, again weighted average. Why? How many people can be participated? A lot, right? 6.6. එතකොට මේක අවුරුද්දයි මාස දෙකක් යනකම් semi annually මට හම්බ වෙනවා 6.69 ගානේ. 6.80 ගානේ මේක හම්බ වෙනවා. මේක 6.80 ගානේ හම්බ. Now you tell me why the government has not issued floating. Why they have not allowed. Now see, not allowed. Why they have not offered under floating. When you issue floating, what happens? Think from the issuer side. Issuer side කියන්නේ මේක SLDB issue කරනකොට. එතකොට මේක SLDB issue කරන එකට ඩොලර්ස් හම්බ වෙනවද නැද්ද? මම ඉන්වෙස්ටර්, සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංකුව තමයි මේක issue කරන්නේ. So the mama invest කරනවා කියන්නේ central bank gets dollar. Who has to bear the cost? Central bank has to bear the cost. అయితే යා නිෂු කර යාට සල්ලි දුන්නානේ. මම investor. I am getting a interest income. Now floating means what? You can't predict it. Why? Every 6 months it reset. Every 6 months it is reset. So when the floating rate has gone up, international market LIBOR rate has gone up, LIBOR rate is increasing. Can you control this? You can't. But what happened now? Now international market LIBOR rates have come down drastically. Now 6-month LIBOR rate is now 0.23%, 0.24, 0.24, 0.24%. Dollar වලට given a 6-month LIBOR rate. It has come down drastically. Right? 1 year LIBOR ගත්තොත් 0.34%. Nothing. So then him පල්ලෙහාට වෙලා තියෙද්දි why the government has not issued on the floating? One thing is they are expecting interest rate, LIBOR interest rate will go up. ඒකෙදි දැන් මෙතන මෙහෙමනේ දැන් අවුරුදු 5වත් තියෙනවානේ අවුරුදු 4වත් තියෙනවා, so we don't know what will happen. Short term there won't be any increase that can be identified within 1 or 2, but we can't predict what will happen during 4-year time, right? So then government does not want to take a risk, so they have not issued and fixed. And also you think from the investor side, the make a LIBOR plus margin. එතකොට මම කිව්වා 6 month LIBOR 0.23 plus margin can at least I need now who can be invested? Okay, now say foreign currency make it PFC holders that you can issue. You can now the holders of foreign currency accounts. Now you are a PFC holder, foreign currency account holder. You want to invest, you want to withdraw from the NRFC now with PFC and invest in SLDB. If you want to invest in SLDB by withdrawing from PFC, you are expecting more return than the PFC or not? Of course, yes. දැන්ට ඔයාලට PFC එකට බැංකුව ගෙවනවා කියද? 6% විතර ගෙවනවා දැන් 1 year. ඒතර 1 year වලට වඩා මට 6% වලට වැඩියෙන් හම්බ වෙනවා නම් විතරයි I invest this. So my bids මම හයනම් දානවා 7ට විතර දානවා. 6. Floating දානවා මම මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? LIBOR 6 month LIBOR rate plus 7% විතර මම දාන්න ඕනේ. LIBOR 1% විතර උඩට ගියොත් එහෙනම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? 7 plus 1 8, losing the government more interest rate next 6 months. So that's why they have not offered. Understood? So every action has every option or every decision has a base. Every decision has a base. Now see who can be, now the minimum amount is now make is 100,000. Then it has brought down to 10,000. Why the PFC account in there? Now see who are the eligible investors. Anybody can invest if you are holding dollars. Now these are the people who can be invested. So may individual lighter ගිහලා auction එකට participate වෙන්න බෑ. auction එකට participate වෙනවා නම් මෙන්න මේ අය හරහා යන්න ඕනේ. Deutsche Bank, they're not a primary dealer. We call it designated agents. Deutsche Bank එක හරහා වුණත් ඔයාලට SLDB auction එකට bid කරන්න පුළුවන්ද බැයිද? පුළුවන්. තව කවුද DFCC හිටියේ නෑනේ primary dealer කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයිනේ. එයා තරත් පුළුවන්. First Capital Treasury නම් හිටියා. එයා primary dealer කෙනෙක්නේ. Habib බැංකුව පුළුවන්. Indian Bank පුළුවන්. NCB, Nation Trust, Pan Asia primary dealer කෙනෙක් තමයි හිටියේ. නමුත් license was temporarily banned. Standard Chartered Bank, Union Bank, they are not primary dealers, but SLDB auctions, yes, you can bid through them as well. So remember, there are some differences, right? There are some differences public subject to applicable laws in selected licensed commercial banks and primary dealers. Primary dealers මම ගිහලා කිව්වොත් එහෙම SLDB auction එකේ දාන්න කියලා my money, my PFC money, they can do that, right? They can do that. But special approval was given by the government primary dealers ලට හිතෙනවා නම් මේ auction එකේ එයා දාන්න ඕනේ කියලා. විකුණන්න නෙමෙයි. විකුණන්නත් පුළුවන් ඕන. මේක these are not freely available in the market, right? දැන් අපි shares ගත්තාම මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? Next day you can sell it. There are buyers, there are sellers. හැබැයි මේක scriptless නෙමෙයි. Script form. මේකට දෙන්නේ certificate එකක් දෙන්නේ. Still මේක scriptless නෑ. එතකොට මේක විකුණන්න නම් I have to personally speak to the people. මගේ ළඟ SLDB එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔයා කැමතිද ගන්න? ඔයා කැමතිද ගන්න? මේක තමයි rate එක. Personally I have to speak. There is no particular market available for us to sell. Freely available market එකක් නෑ SLDB වලට. Scriptless නැහැ. ඒ නිසා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේක ගන්න අය තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. Primary dealers are given the opportunity to convert rupees, which is prohibited normal circumstances, convert rupees into dollars for the purpose of investing SLDBs only. එයාට තියෙන රුපියල් එයාට ඕන නම් පුළුවන් තියෙන රුපියල් ටික ඩොලර් කරලා මේකේ දාන්න විතරක්. මේකේ දාන්න විතරක්. That option is available, right? නැත්නම් නිකන් රුපියල් අපිට ඩොලර් ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? But you have to show them. You have to tell. You have to show them how you have you. Now අපි කියමු පිටින් ඔයා කොහෙන් හරි exchange house එකකින් රුපියල් කරගත්තා, currency ගත්තා, dollars ගත්තා. If you want to invest in, you have to go one of these banks or primary dealers. They're asking how do you earn this money. If you go to the bank to deposit and open RFC or now it's PFC account, the bank is asking, can I show it your passport? You landed to Sri Lanka, within 3 months only you can put your currency. If you are not gone abroad, how can you have dollars? You can't. So you can't do that, right? So selected licensed banks laws in Sri Lanka. Other things, a paying agent also. Now paying agent in the sense, now semi-annually make a given on interest. So the Bank of Ceylon is undertaking to pay all these investors to pay. When I make invest, you will be receiving semi-annual interest. The Bank of Ceylon undertakes it, but treasury bonds, who undertakes? Government only, central bank only, right? Central bank, they do it themselves. Ek rupiyal ni, make a dollar hinda, they have given to the Bank of Ceylon, right? And this is the advertisement. And all remember that apart from the primary dealers, there are banks who are allowed to invest, who are allowed to take bids on behalf of the auction from the public. Public in the sense these people. May I try make a okay. Right, then finally we will see the result sheet. Result sheet is similar. Now they have not offered any floating rate. I'll show you the floating rate SLDB auction results as well. Then we can identify LIBOR rate plus margin. Make the auction එකේදී අතරම decide වෙන්නේ margin එක තමයි. Margin එක තමයි you decide, right? This is scriptless නෑ, මේක script form එකේ තියෙන්නේ, right? Now here 5 months 5.20ක් හම්බුණා, 5.21ම හම්බෙලා අරගෙන තියෙනවා. 12.15ක් හම්බුණා, මිලියන 12.15ම ගවර්න්මන්ට් එක අරගෙන තියෙනවා. Right. So 75 million they issued, but they have not accepted fully. ඔකමරන්නේ පොඩි ගාණක් අඩුයි. 7.37ක් හම්බුන එක 7යි මෙතන ඒතකොට 19යි 17යි 19යි 19 5 24යි amount accept again amount means දාලත් නැහැ මිනිස්සු කියන අර eligible investorsලා they have not invested එමේ ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරව අපි කියමු ඔක්කොම කී දෙනෙක් දාලා දෙනවා 7යි 19යි 19යි 5යි 24යි 24 million dollars විතරයි bids ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ how much they wanted to raise 75 how much they want to raise 75 but the people have put bids of 24 but they have accepted the making me 0.2 gana and everything is accepted almost 98% accepted from the bid received but people have not put bid as they expected why is that 1 year and 2 months do you pay for your PFC account 6.69 do you pay any bank who pays 6.69 for 1 year PFC account now it's paid one of this now can some of them market now this was 13 November settlement 18 by 18 November වෙනකොට anybody who pays 6.69 for dollars 1 year PFC I don't think so why people have not put money one thing lack of awareness and also banks are not banks you can't say that you can't say that you're not allowed but banks try to keep these PFC fund with them right they are in PFC balance is diminishing PFC balance එකෙන් අරගෙන SLDB option එකට යනවා if the bids are successful what happen you are losing your PFC balance foreign currency balance ඒකෝර මොකද කරන්නේ බැංකුව මේක ඇත්තටම කැමති නැහැ මොකද එයාගේ PFC balance එක නියන් so you try to avoid this that is one thing and also if you have a better option now why the foreigners are not coming to Sri Lanka to invest this so they can invest in ISBs international sovereign bonds at 34% 24% 17% like that so they have enough similar risk investing in the USA investment in government of Sri Lanka මේකේ ඇවිල්ලා foreign එකෙන් invest කළත් එකයි පිටරට අපේ ISB වල invest කළත් එකයි similar risk දෙකම government of Sri Lanka but think about the yield is better than this and that is one thing that's why foreigners are not coming to Sri Lanka to invest in SLDBs locally issued okay so these are the instruments we want to discuss with you and so these are the instruments we want to discuss with you we have discussed all these instruments with you any question you have so basically next week we will be moving to pricing calculation of treasury bill and treasury bonds I have not gone through the word by word your notes anyway the discussion based on the notes but remember we are discussing addition to the note syllabus the syllabus contents of the note discussing it. So I requested you in the first place if you say any additional we are discussing more than the tudes I requested you to write it down so which is more important in your exam at the exam so any question you have before we wind up the class and please participate at the next week we'll be taking the questions we'll be taking the pricing of the treasury bill treasury bond calculation and I expect to move into a project appraisal as well very important subject project appraisal exam frequently tested subject little difficult but you can manage don't worry it's a more like accounting subject management account if you have done CIMA chartered you must have completed this project appraisal NPA calculation and all and we will be doing it anything you need to ask so far this question so next week I'll be going through this note as well so everything is covered with the notes only thing I have not started shares yet. So I want to complete uh, this issue under issue management, this government instrument, and what are the instruments available so far we have. So then we have now base now. Debenture we can easily discuss now. Only the issue is different. Features are the same. So we can discuss by when you're doing the pricing accrued interest part as well. So don't worry about it. Any question you have? Since you don't have any question, we will wind up the class. We will be meeting next week with the pricing, right? Thank you very much for participating.